We are here in Melbourne, Florida, coming at you with another video game store tour, and this is Ready, Set, Game, and I'm here with the owner, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Chris. And Chris is going to take us on a little tour around his awesome store. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm very excited for this one because just walking in the door, I can tell you this is a quality game store. There was a game store tour I did, and I saw plush like this, and I was curious. I asked the owner, like, do these plush actually sell? And he was like, yeah, they sell. Is it the same for you?
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids especially love this stuff, but there's a lot of adults that come in and get some of the Pokemon characters, or maybe like their favorite obscure Animal Crossing characters, or whatever the case may be. We do quite well with that, especially around Christmas time. They make awesome stocking stuffers, and people really like they're like Funko Pops, right? Like they like their pop culture, representation essentially, and this is a great way to get that. So yeah, they sell really well.
Tell me about this. What are we looking at here?
So
this
these
is interesting.
are really cool. These are called Gashapon, and this is huge in Japan.
Really?
And I got really lucky with a distributor who happened to start carrying the machines and sold me on this idea, and these things sell like crazy. Essentially what they are is a assortment of different keychains and action figures and like little acrylics, and sometimes they even have like these tiny little paper scrolls that have like different information about like, Demon Slayer or My Hero or Street Fighter or whatever the case may be. I mean, here you can see we have a couple My Hero ones, and Chainsaw Man, and Pokemon, Minecraft. So I have something I'd like to show you guys, a little bit of a grail.
Okay.
So this will be very interesting. So I have in my possession one of, if not the most expensive and sought after strategy guides on the market, period.
Really?
If you go on price charting, which is where a lot of people will go for their pricing, and you filter strategy guides, this is the most expensive. So this is like the Nintendo World Championship level of strategy guides. It's very rare. This is a Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals. And this is, I think that I have it priced low at $1,000.
That's crazy.
So some of the ones that have sold, there's very little sales information on these, and some of the ones that have sold over the years have been like, 700, 750, 800. There's only one listing on eBay right now, and some joker wants $2,500 on it. It's crazy, and there's almost no sales information. If you dig a little deeper, you go into Reddit and some areas in Google and stuff like that, people are like, does this guide even exist? There is a lot of speculation as to what this is all about, and I still don't even really grasp how rare this actually is.
You care about?
No, absolutely. And to give you perspective on this, the Earthbound guide, which is probably one of the most sought after strategy guides to complete your Earthbound, is like maybe a $300-400 guide.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap between the Earthbound guide and this one.
This seems to be mainly kind of the retro game area. An amazing selection, right?
Thank you.
And not only an amazing selection, but everything looks like it's been cleaned and ready to be displayed on the shelf for people to buy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I take great pride in that. I wanted to create a game store experience that was different than your typical game store experience. I'm 39. I have been gaming since I was 4 years old. So we're talking 1989. I've got the first Mario Brothers, and I am dying at the first little Goomba and Cliff, like probably everyone was doing back then, over and over and over again. And I've been playing games since then, and I've been on the other side of the counter. I've gone to game stores just like you, traveled around and went to a bunch of different game stores. And there's a lot of game stores that I loved, and a lot of game stores I downright hated. And one of the common themes in the game stores that I hated was disorganization and uncleanliness. I could not stand that. So a lot of people will walk in here, and one of the greatest compliments that I can get is that, is this a GameStop? Because GameStop stores, although there's a lot of stigma, are clean and organized and generally pretty aesthetically pleasing. And I wanted the store to be aesthetically pleasing. I wanted it to look and feel good.
I mean, your selection is insane. You got a nice GameCube selection, because believe me, I've been in a lot of game stores, and most game stores have like maybe half this, maybe a quarter of this.
Yeah.
Because GameCube games, as you know, they go quick.
Insane.
Yeah, they go quick.
It's the hottest thing on the market right now as far as retro gaming is concerned. By far.
Oh, so do you do this?
No, I wish. We got really lucky a couple of months ago. I think it was maybe October, November. We happened to get one guy who traded in like the majority of the Nintendo 64 library. So I think there's like, I don't remember if it was 296 or 396 games, but he had like 270 of them. And they were all individual, and he had them wrapped wrapped and labeled like this. So we left them like this because I think that those are sick. We actually mark down our games that don't have boxes.
Makes sense.
So if we have a game over here that's $2.99, it might be $4.99 over there with the box and manual and all that stuff. So a lot of people will come over here and grab all like the $2.99 games and stuff just to stock up or fill in gaps in their collection. Or a lot of the times, I mean, DS becomes like a little kid system. So it's like you pick one up for about $50, $100, whatever it is, and then you get a couple of like $2.99 games, and you're out the door for somewhere between $50 and $100, and you got a happy kid. So
yeah, no, that's a great idea, and I love the way you have these displayed, and I love the rotating case here. What I've learned about as I tour a lot of these game stores and just going to conventions and different things like that is making it easy for the customer to browse the product is very important.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be inconvenient for them to be able to look through the things that they're interested in buying.
Right.
You're gonna sell one today because I see one that I am walking out of here with.
Which
for
one?
sure. And that is this Legend of Zelda sealed Havoc and Hyrule DVD. I'm definitely gonna buy that for sure. So you got a killer PS1 selection here.
Yeah.
I see. Lots of really good titles, and again, everything's super clean. And another thing I got to comment on is I'm really liking the prices that I'm seeing.
Oh, thank you.
Like so far, the prices I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anything that's like that I think like, oh, that's way overpriced. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I go into a game store and they're like charging like way over eBay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on now.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Nintendo Switch.
The king.
Love it. It's one of my favorite consoles right now. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you one thing I like to see whenever I go into a game store. I like to see Nintendo Switch games physically that you don't really see very often in other places. An example, never seen this game before in my life, Golden Force. You don't see a Hat in Time physically very often. Hotline Miami Collection, Kunai. That's a great game, by the way. Fantastic game. How well does the Switch do for you?
It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best selling thing in the store.
Really?
Our selection right now is crap compared to what I want it to be. Yeah. So we put our money where our mouth is. So I don't know, I mean, hey, if you're local in the area, we are paying 80% store credit of what we sell. So what that means is if we sell a game for $25, we're giving you $20 in store credit for that Switch game. All we ask is the game is clean and it's boxed, and we cannot buy enough. And we've been running this promotion since January, and look how little we still have. And it's not because of lack of trade-ins. The revolving door that is Switch games, we get Switch games in and then we sell them immediately. And it's just the most insane market and economy right now in video gaming. I mean, it is hot, hot, hot. Everybody wants it. So much rotation with this that it's hard to actually keep a stock of it at any point. But like I said, there's a reason we're paying 80%. You know, we want your Switch games. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, bring them in.
Speaking of cool stuff, let's go over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got a killer Wii selection.
Thank you.
I love the Wii. A lot of people crap on the console, but I think it's a great console. Tons of great games, tons of hidden gems. How do your physical Xbox One games sell in comparison to your physical PS4, PS5 games?
That is an interesting question. So the answer is what you actually might expect. It doesn't sell as well.
Right, and it makes sense.
Now that said, we do still sell them. But what sells more is the 360 games. It's not down for the count yet.
Because the 360 is an amazing console with an amazing library.
It is, and you know, the one thing that Xbox does really well is that backwards compatibility. That's huge to be able to do that.
One thing that I've noticed with my Xbox 360 inventory is I've noticed prices starting to go up on 360 games.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if you have any theories as to why 360 game prices are starting to rise some.
So this is going to make some of you feel old, but the Xbox 360 came out in 2006.
It did.
So just as a reminder, you know, as we hurdle through the abyss,
Yep.
we're going on 2006. We're about to have a 20-year anniversary.
That's crazy.
We're about to have a 20-year anniversary.
Thanks for making me feel old.
I know. Hey, listen, man. Solidarity. You have a console where, you know, with me, my first console was the Nintendo NES, like I was saying earlier.
Me too.
So I have a deep personal connection with NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. That's what I grew up as a kid playing. That's not to say I didn't play PS2 and GameCube and all that stuff, but I have a really deep connection with these other games. They remind me of being a kid. Now, if you think about it, these kids that grew up at a certain point, when they were 4 or 5 years old, their first console was a 360, and now these guys in their mid-20s.
Now they have disposable income.
They have disposable income.
They're getting nostalgic for
Yep. Oh, the Game Boy?
Yeah. So are these all Game Boy Advance games? Oh, I see some Game Boy,
There's
Boy Color.
Game Boy and Game Boy Advance here, and I'm a little embarrassed about the gaps here. I will tell you, this is also very hot. People are into this market.
For sure.
If you really dive deep into this, I'm not too proud of the titles that we have. We're missing the Marios and
there's
Zeldas
a lot
of
good stuff in here.
But man, this flies. You want to talk about revolving door? People love Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. So this is like
for sure.
its own little economy.
PS4, killer selection. PS3, killer selection.
We do really well with these.
You know, I just, for the first time in my life, got a PS3 recently and started playing PS3. So that's another rabbit hole I'm going to be going down thanks to this guy behind the camera here.
It's a brilliant console. There's a lot of really good stuff to play on here that was exclusive.
Yes. Now, it makes me very happy to see that you have a small selection of card and board games here because I am an avid card and board game, just tabletop fan in general. I love tabletop games. I've got a huge collection of card and board games. So it makes me very happy to see. And you got some killer games here. Castle Panic is an amazing game.
It's one of my favorite up there.
Dude, it's so good. I didn't even know there was a big box version of it.
It's got all the expansions.
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, every game store's got to have snacks and drinks, right?
That's how we make all our money. It's just snacks and drinks, man. If we didn't have Monster Energy, we'd have gone under years ago.
Now, okay, I know most people are going to be like, why are you talking about this? But you are the first game store I've ever seen that has an ATM in the game store.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Convenience.
Pokemon, you got an amazing selection of Pokemon cards here, which we're going to get some good B-roll of to show people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would imagine you probably sell the hell out of this stuff.
We kill it.
Yeah.
This is, if there are two pillars holding up our business, it's video games and Pokemon exclusively.
The glass case sections.
Yes.
And we've got one here. So usually, you guys know this watching, the glass case is usually where you're going to find the more high-end, rare, expensive titles, right? Yeah. And I mean, I'm already seeing a ton of amazing stuff in this case that we'll get B-roll of, but I mean, you got stuff like some killer Dreamcast games like Giga Wing, you got Michael Jackson's Moonwalker in the box.
We have 2 copies.
2 copies, wow. You got, NCAA Football 14, which is the weirdest game to be so expensive, Spider-Man Edge of Time. Those Spider-Man games, it's crazy how high they went up.
They're really good games.
They're really good games.
I recommend them to everybody. You might be watching and, the handheld section looks anemic, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on. We get trade-ins every day. So people will come in today, trade us stuff in, and then they'll sell within the week. And then, it's like this loop, so everything is fresh. I always tell people, you can come here 1 week, and then you could come in next week, and it's like we have a whole different inventory.
I'm very, very impressed with your store.
Thank you.
Great layout. It doesn't feel cramped. It's really easy to maneuver around in here. Everything's spaced out great. Everything's clean. Prices are really good.
Thank you.
You got a great selection. I can tell that you're very passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is the most important thing. You gotta have that passion.
Yeah.
You gotta have that passion. That's so freaking important. So folks, if you're in the Melbourne, Florida area, I would say, even if you're an hour or 2 away, this place is worth making the drive to come check out. Or if you're ever passing through, a lot of people come to Florida for vacation.
Yeah.
So if you're passing through on vacation, even if you're going to Orlando, how far are you from Orlando?
About 50 minutes. It's not even that far.
50 minutes. That's not that bad of a drive at all. And a lot of people go to Orlando. So come to Melbourne, Florida. Check out Ready, Set, Game. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Chris, thank you so much for letting me do this tour.
Thank you so much.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go around and explore and try to find some stuff to buy because I want to give you some of my money. I want to support the store and walk out of here with some stuff for my own collection. So let's do it. Okay, so with the tour complete, I am now going to take you guys around a few spots of the store because I'm interested in trying to find some stuff to add to my own collection. Now, I'm going for a complete GameCube set. Got a great selection of GameCube games here. And I went through this selection earlier, and there is actually one game here that I do not have in the collection and that is Roadkill. And not only is it complete, but it's actually really clean, just like everything in the store. Really clean, great condition. $39.99 is a great price on that. I'm not going to argue with that. And that is a very uncommon game, too. You do not see this game physically very often at all. Marcello, have you ever heard of this Alice in Wonderland game?
I have, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Do you know anything about it?
Unfortunately, I don't, but I do know that the cover art is one that was stood out to me because it's very quirky.
It looks interesting. It looks like it's a 2D side-scrolling adventure game. It says you control 4 different characters. It's based off the Tim Burton movie. Huh. They have a copy of Def Jam Fight for New York, which is a rare game on the GameCube. It's very pricey. This copy is complete, $160. I'm gonna have to have some self-control and not get it as much as I want it. I think I'm gonna have to have some self-control because we're still going to at least like 2 or 3 other places between today and tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to go for quantity over quality. So we're gonna walk out of here with Roadkill complete on the GameCube for $40. So I'm actually really happy to find this game because, like me and Marcello were talking about earlier, this is a game that you just do not see ever. Right, Marcello? Like,
I don't think I've ever seen it at a store, to be very honest.
Yeah, me too. Same. And it is a done deal. Thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.
Guys, come check out Ready, Set, Game. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't come check this game store out because it's amazing.